A woman brutally raped says she suffered for years, all because police made a big mistake. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. Rape kits are often the only hope for victims, their only chance for justice. So why did a local police agency take one woman's kit and do nothing for 5 long years? I spent weeks investigating and found out other victims may also be waiting for delayed justice.
The details are still vivid in Stephanie Beatty's mind.
I had gotten up and my leg was hurting really bad.
The moment she woke up and realized something was very wrong.
I was in severe pain. I looked at my clothes. My clothes were inside out.
It was 2010, a happier time for Beatty, and one night she went out with friends celebrating her 28th birthday, which also meant plenty of drinking. So Stephanie spent the night at a friend's apartment in Wood River, Illinois. But when she awoke the next morning,
because I knew that he did something without my consent.
He was her friend's dad, who also lived there, 42-year-old Randy Glover. Stephanie believed that Glover raped her while she was passed out on the living room couch.
I knew I had to go to the hospital to get a rape kit test done.
And she did. The sexual assault nurse examiner found the results of Stephanie's physical was consistent with her story, and also took samples from Stephanie for DNA testing. But it's after that things started going wrong. You see, the Wood River police were on the case, so they sent a detective to the hospital where he picked up the evidence in the rape kit for testing. And then, nothing. First weeks, then a month, and more.
After 6 months went by, I knew something was wrong.
But Stephanie called again and again for any information about her case, as 1 year became 2, became 5 years, as her hope for justice and closure faded. Then, one day in 2016, the Wood River police called her. So what was going on? Turns out her rape kit evidence...
It had just been sitting on a shelf for 6 years.
Yes.
And that is a big problem.
Rape kits are supposed to be sent to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab. So we came here to the headquarters in Springfield, Illinois to get some answers. Who submits the rape kit to the lab?
That would be a law enforcement agency.
In fact, the same year that Stephanie reported being raped, 2010, then Illinois Governor Pat Quinn signed a law requiring the police to turn over rape kits to the state's lab within 10 days of being collected to make sure that justice was done in a timely fashion, which makes Stephanie all the more astonished.
Why would you let a rape kit sit there for 6 years and not test it?
Good question. So the I-team asked the Wood River Police for an interview. And at first, recently hired Police Chief Brad Wells said yes. But when we showed up, he refused to do it, instead giving us this written statement that says in part, "On the advice of counsel, I am declining to do an on-camera interview. I am doing a complete review of the policies and procedures with this department." But the I-team has discovered something else, that there may be other rape victims waiting for an answer from the Wood River Police. That's because, despite the passing of that rape kit law back in 2010, for 7 years, the Wood River Police never made that law's new requirements a part of their policy until December of 2017.
And that's a failure of all of us that are part of that system.
We told State Representative Margo McDermott about Stephanie's case, but she thinks she has a solution. A new law that will create an online tracking system for rape kits.
To provide reassurance, to give some measure of control back to the victim.
Victims like Beatty.
My rape kit test proved that I was raped.
Because years later, it was finally sent to the state forensic lab, where DNA tests found a match for, yes, Randy Glover. Finally, Glover was arrested for sexual assault. But in the end, he struck a plea deal, reducing his charge to the lesser crime of sexual abuse. His sentence, 30 months probation, and never a day in jail, leaving Stephanie Beatty heartbroken.
I lost all faith in the justice system.
Representative McDermott says the state of Illinois just finished figuring out how that new rape kit tracking system will work. Now they have to hire a computer company to set it all up. Then there's the Wood River Police and the possibility of other rape victims in that same situation as Stephanie Beatty. We will stay on this story and continue investigating, and as soon as we know more, you'll know.